rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to our November 20th Board of Trustee meeting. Roll call, please. Heigl? Yes. Mary? Yes. Yolanda?
Yes.
Thank you. To you, Mr. Administrator.
Thank you. Thank you. First we'll do public comment. Just as a reminder, public comment is for a period of 30 minutes per meeting. Residents or guests wishing to speak are asked to sign in on the sign-in sheet provided. Each person will be given 3 minutes to express their compliment or concern. Each person will be called to the podium in the order on the sign-in sheet. Yielding the time to another person is not permitted. Respectful communication between all parties is expected. If the person is not able to comment during the 30-minute time limit, we ask to email their compliment or concern to myself at Myers at pmyers@blendon.twp.org. And just as a reminder, there's been some discussion. I've had a discussion with a few people, so I'll put it out there for everybody. This session is public comment, so the expectation of answers here it's not a Q&A, it's a public comment. So whatever comment you want to make is fine. If there's a question involved with that, simply email it to me. I'll do my best to get the answers for you, get it back to you as soon as possible, and get the feedback of those that I need involved to get that answer. So that's that. And right now I have one person, Pam Clegg.
Pam Clegg, 3614 McCasser. Communications was an item removed from the trustee meeting agenda about 1 year ago. Communications should be returned to the agenda because it was our way of knowing what correspondence you have received and is now a matter of public record. If desired, we could request a copy of the communication, but not if we don't know about it. We cannot ask for what we don't know about. Communications needs to return to the trustee meeting agenda. Public comments became very restricted a year ago, and that negatively impacted the culture of trustee meetings and relationships. The purpose of public comments is so that the public can consider our comments and be informed. If saving time at the meeting is concerned, then rather than read the same rules each meeting, you could simply list public comment rules as brief bullet points right on the meeting agenda under public comments. A lack of transparency exists in the approved meeting minutes that you send out. The record of proceedings in the meeting minutes lists the same statement on every set of minutes under public comment, and that statement is, quote, "Time was permitted for meeting attendees to make comments." It's really disturbing and distressing to me that this canned statement is listed every time, even when someone has spoken during public comment. The right thing to do, as was done in the past, is list who spoke, their address, and provide a synopsis of their comments. Finally, recent complaints about the latest street sweeping were essentially dismissed by a denial of any problem and an insistence that what township personnel saw was accurate. Therefore, what residents saw was inaccurate. This happened not only with the horrible street sweeping job at Huber Ridge, but apparently in Sunbury Wood as well. Although several had complaints, personnel still claimed the job was done correctly. Who can or wants to argue? Street sweeping at Huber Ridge and Sunbury Woods was an egregious waste of money this time. Many saw it as poorly done, but because township personnel said otherwise, it was final. It is to the residents and the township's advantage to have proper street sweeping done in order to avoid sewer drop blockage and street flooding. Township personnel especially should know that flooding is a serious problem. Therefore, the township should ensure proper street sweeping takes place and not dismiss the issue. And yes, it would be helpful to our waterways if residents helped by keeping curbs clean as well. Many try.
Thank you, Pam. Nice job. Anybody else?
Nope, that's it, public comment. And then the next thing on the agenda,
I'm right here.
Oh, there you are, sorry. So Franklin County Soil and Water is here to do a short presentation on the working agreement we have with them. So if you just state your name and where you're from.
Yes, so my name is Annabelle Spranger. I'm with Franklin Soil and Water Conservation District. I am an urban conservation specialist, so I handle development plan reviews, construction site inspections, and a whole bunch of other things. We all wear very many hats. But I know you've got some new kind of people in the zoning department and other staff, so we wanted to kind of take some time to come and talk to you about what we do, what services we provide, and what services we're contracted to provide with you right now. We are getting to the end of the year, so if you haven't heard, this will probably be from Pat, but if you haven't heard from our office yet, we should be reaching out for a new working agreement for 2025. But I think for the past couple of years, it's usually stayed the same. So we will do review and comment on any of the development and construction plans that you guys send out. I think we've seen one so far this year at least. We've been working with your zoning person. And we'll review those just for sediment and erosion control stuff, stormwater, make recommendations about natural resources. Once those sites actually start construction, we're the ones who will do those sediment and erosion control inspections, or we call them SWIP inspections. And we do those twice a month, and we'll maintain records for construction sites and stuff like that. Reach out to you guys if there are any issues, non-compliance, stuff like that. And then we also do some other permit work kind of related to construction development and stuff like that. So that's what we've got in your working agreement for this year. We also handle all of the other parts of the EPA permit that the county and different municipalities hold. We do education and outreach. I'm sure we have educators in your schools, but if you guys want to contract us for that, we can kind of put a set number of visits aside rather than charging for that. We do public outreach, so social media, newsletters, stuff like that, kind of community engagement, construction site inspections, which I talked about. Post-construction, which is a big part of the EPA permit that's going to be up in 2026. For that, we do mapping of post-construction, stormwater facilities, and we do inspections to make sure they're being maintained properly. We also we have a GIS team where we do mapping of stormwater utilities throughout the county, and then we do pollution prevention. So a lot of that stuff kind of is worked into the working agreement, but most of what we focus on in Blendon is construction site inspections. So if you guys have any questions for me at this time, I can try to answer as best I can. Otherwise, I believe your zoning person, Adam Sears, has my contact information. If anything comes up afterwards, you feel free to shoot us an email and we can try to get those answered.
I believe we're also working with you on the native and natural gardening.
Yes.
I met with a number of people from there, yeah.
Yes, so we're, talking about some zoning code changes,
Right.
stuff like that. I think we're gonna start doing that with other municipalities too, because it's kind of becoming a big.
They said we're gonna be a leader.
Yeah. So, does anybody else have any other questions?
I just have a comment. Adam's had to reach out to people. You guys have been great about getting back to him. And as far as the working agreement, and I'll be getting that. I'll let you guys, if there's questions, we can ask about the working agreement. You guys have been really responsive. I really appreciate it.
You're great to work with.
Adam reaching out for help. Things have been great, so appreciate it.
One of our biggest compliments we get is that we actually answer the phones. So we're very, very proud of that. So I appreciate that. If you guys don't have anything else, I'm going to get out of here because I've had a very long day, but thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Health Department representative?
No, just Franklin County Soil and Water. The health person, they would call it. They're supposed to be together.
Okay. All right, then we will move on to trustee comment. Ladies, one of you like to go first?
I would like to let everyone know, and this has to do with sustainability and recycling, that as of this month, Rumpke is now accepting clear plastic containers, including clamshells, that's what most of us call them, in their recycling. Clamshells are those clear plastic, like hard containers that are used for packaging strawberries and blueberries and things like that when you buy them in the grocery store. So as of this month, those can go in your recycling for Rumpke. Secondly, Swaco's convenience center, which is down on Jackson Pike, it's 2566 Jackson Pike, they have dropped their dollar charge for dropping off latex paint. There's been a dollar charge for latex paint until now, and they just, I think it was just last week, it was very recently, they dropped that dollar charge. They also accept prescription bottles and cardboard and styrofoam egg cartons, none of which, the things I just listed, are accepted by Rumpke Recycling or this Waco Household Hazardous Waste Center there on East Fifth Avenue. I was one of the ones that personally, I did not know that prescription bottles could not go in recycling, so I learned something. But you can take prescription bottles, cardboard, egg cartons, which Rumpke does not take, styrofoam egg cartons, which Rumpke does not take. Any of those can go down to that new convenience center. Well, it's not new; it's been there a year now. The convenience center at Jackson Pike. And just to clarify, you can still take latex paint to the other SWACO facility, the Household Hazardous Waste, but they still charge $1. So it's their convenience center on Jackson Pike that has dropped the dollar charge for dropping off latex paint. And then lastly, House Bill 315, the Township Omnibus Bill, which I've spoken about twice in the past few months, had its second Senate hearing yesterday. I watched the first hearing. It was very interesting. So House Bill 315 now has 15 township provisions instead of the original 9, and it will probably get some more amendments added in the next hearing, which will be December 3rd. I'm hopeful that this bill will eventually pass, as it has quite a few things in it that will benefit our township, such as altering the public notice requirement for townships, providing grant funding to modernize zoning regulations and processes, and reinstating the indigent burial reimbursement funding. I had Kyle Brooks, the Director of Government Affairs for the Ohio Township Association, send me the current version with all 15 provisions. So if anyone wants to see it, they can contact me. That's all I have.
All right, I have a couple things. Our 2025 Blendon calendar has been mailed. If you haven't received yours, you probably will this week or next. We had quite a few people enter their photographs and won the entry place, so we were very pleased with that. Also, Blendon Township is going to partner with the Salvation Army again this year for the holiday season to support their Angel Tree Toy Drive. If you want to participate, we will have at our next trustee meeting, which is December 4th, we'll have the Angel Tree Christmas tree set up with the tags on it. And anyone that wants to participate can just take the tags off the tree. They're hanging on the tree like an ornament. You remove the tag and you purchase the gift. It will say child, girl, this age group. It might even say what her wish list is or his. You purchase the gift, return the card, and the unwrapped gifts back to the senior center. We will have this posted on our website and our Facebook this week, so you can have that information to refer to if you want to. And that is all I have.
I just have one thing, maybe two, but as a part of the very long process of meeting with and creating manuals for all of our staff members, I found it necessary to have floor plans for the senior center, administrative, and maintenance buildings. We did not have a current or legible floor plan for any of them. I know you sent me what we had, but you couldn't read it, couldn't figure out what room was what, and I think there were some changes to the senior center since that floor plan, maybe 30, 40 years ago, was done. I felt it would be cost prohibitive to have an architect prepare the drawing, so I had Pat contact a few 3D tour vendors for pricing. And I know with the 3D tour we can get a digital floor plan, but I just found out before the meeting we can probably get it with an iPad Pro 2 with LiDAR. So when you talk to them for final pricing, we might want to check just about getting the floor plans so we can include those in our manuals. There would not be, in my opinion, it wouldn't be necessary to host the 3D tour unless we need to use it for things. We probably won't need the tour, just the digital floor plans of the building. And just have everyone, hope you have a relaxing and fun Thanksgiving. That's all I have. Unless you have something to add about the 3D tour and digital.
No, I
tour.
don't think that the company that I speak to is called the Pizzazz Group out of Findlay, Ohio. I called several, but he made it very clear to me that there is a way to do it without the 3D tour, so I'll just have to have him tweak the proposal and everything, and then I can get it to you guys, and you guys can review it, ask questions, and we can, if you want, if it's, you so desire, we can act on it on December 4th.
I think it's important to have, something we'll have in our manual system forever. Right now, we don't have it, and new people coming on board have no idea what's in this room or what's in that room. So it's just gonna help new staff, new administration, anybody else that might come on board.
All right, thank you. Moving on to the fiscal report, ladies, have you had the opportunity to review the meeting minutes from November 6th?
Yes.
All right, do we have a motion to approve them?
I move to approve the meeting minutes from November 6, 2024.
All right, and I will second. So there is a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the meeting minutes from November 6th. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote.
Simoco?
Yes.
Chineberry? Abstain. Heickel?
Yes. All right, thank you. Purchase orders, have you had the opportunity to review the purchase orders?
Yes, and I will move to approve the purchase orders as presented.
I'll second.
All right, motion on the floor and seconded to approve the purchase orders as presented. Any discussion?
Simoco?
Yes.
Chineberry? Heickel?
Yes. All right, thank you. And the bills, ladies, have you had the opportunity to review the bills?
Yep, I will move to pay the bills as presented.
Second.
Motion on the floor and seconded to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion?
Simoco?
Yes.
Chineberry? Heickel?
Yes. Okay, we don't have the 2024 October bank reconciliations at this time, so we will move on to Mr. Myers.
I just have a couple things for you. First, we did receive a $250 donation that is going to the service department, to be sent to the department from Rolling Ridge neighborhood. So I would ask if you accept that $250 donation.
I'll move to graciously accept the $250 donation from the residents of Rolling Ridge neighborhood for the service department.
And I will second that.
Motion on the floor and seconded to graciously accept the $250 donation from the residents of Rolling Ridge for the service department. Any discussion?
I know they do this, I think, annually, don't they? It's much appreciated. So.
Very much so.
Simoco?
Yes.
Chineberry? Yes. Heickel?
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to ask that we table this, and I'll tell you why. I was going to ask you to approve the cemetery rules and regulations because we added the recording of deeds to that, which is a process that's in place now. But there's a couple things that Matt and Taylor and I had discussions today about that we think need to be added, and we're going to make some changes to those rules and regs and send them to you for your review, your edits, and then we can come back in December. One of those things is currently, if you're a Blendon Township resident, you pay X amount for a plot here, and also your relatives. Well, that has turned into not so much very close relatives. So people are buying multiple plots for people that are, 15th cousins from California, just things that they're just not. So we're talking about coming to you with something more along the lines of, it is for residents and their children. Any other family member would pay the non-resident fee. We do 170, 180 maybe funerals this year. And that's not counting plots that have been sold, just being sold for people to have for a whole. And I think it's important that this land be available to residents and their children or very close relatives rather than cousins from Kansas or whatever. We're running into that. They're relatives, and we're going to give them that price. And there's a decent price difference. It's a really nice break for residents. We think that we should change it. So we're going to put that in front of you, have you look at it. A couple pricing changes as well. One of the reasons we do so many funerals is because we're way cheaper than everyone else. So we're not trying to make a living on the cemetery. It's not a, we're not going to break the bank with money on the cemetery, but at the same time, we're going to run out of space 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now to the age we're born. Westerville, I don't know how many funerals they do, 10, 12, they're out of space in some places. They just don't do them because people come here. Because it's well known that Blendon Township is a beautiful cemetery. It's well maintained. And it's easy to get to, and it's really reasonably priced compared to every other jurisdiction. So we got a few changes we want you to see first.
Not
That's
to put you
okay.
on the spot, but of that 170 burials, do you know how many were residents versus non-residents?
I couldn't tell you. I mean, we can find out. Pull a report out of the SIM software, probably find that out because we know by price. It's a lot. It's a lot of residents and their relatives, I'll tell you that. So when people are buying 6 and 8 of those at a time for their relatives, we just think that maybe we need to tighten that down a little bit. And you guys will make a final decision with the 3 of us, have a conversation, and we'll put that language in front of you in the next few days. Thank you. The next is, we have a nuisance abatement that we would like you to approve. Adam has spent a lot of time with this property owner. Matt and I talked to this property owner. At this point, it is to the point where we need to issue the nuisance abatement and give us some time frames to get it handled. So I would ask that you approve a nuisance abatement of the property located at 3525 Canberra Court, Western Ohio 43081. And I've had that motion, or that resolution here. You have it as well.
Okay, it's my understanding that is for uncontrolled vegetation, litter, refuse, and debris. I'll go ahead and move to approve resolution NU 2024-18 nuisance abatement for the property at 3525 Canberra Court, Westerville, 43081. Second. There is a motion on the floor and seconded to approve resolution NU 2024-18 nuisance abatement. Any discussion? Hearing none. DeMarco?
Yes.
Shinneberry? Yes. Heidel? Yes.
Thank you. Run around the road and follow up. Hopefully it'll get cleaned up and we don't have to do the cleanup. So, next 2 items are just a couple discussion items. First, we do commercial building. We have a commercial building department that's outsourced. We don't have a commercial building department here. So we have things that involve commercial buildings, whether it's inspections, permitting, and so forth. We use a company called Tool & Associates. We always have used Tool & Associates. Through Adam's interactions with Tool & Associates and some of the things we've tried to accomplish, we feel that there's been a lack of support there. So we've done some research, and there's a gentleman that currently works for the city of Westerville. He's going to be on his own. It's not a secret. Westerville guys, there you go. But so he's put together a proposal for us that is the same cost as Tool & Associates. It's ad hoc payment. We don't pay unless they do work for us. Julie Donnans reviewed that, and she said will have it finished tomorrow. She's 90% of the way through it, so it looks just fine to her. So I think what's going to happen on December 4th, we are going to come to you and ask you if we can change to this other organization, because we just feel like we need a response on it. We were dealing with an issue with Chief Belford and the fire chief of Westerville, and I feel like it drug a little bit. This tool just wasn't getting back to us. And there's no one in their office. When you go to their office, you drop plans, they're not there. They've been in the business a long time, and they do work for a lot of people. So they're good at what they do. I'm not bashing them for that. What I'm saying is we're small. Worthington called, Columbus called. He's going to feel like they're going to be taken care of first. So, but this gentleman came in and met with Adam and I think it'll be a good fit. So we'll have that for you in the next meeting. Lastly, I would talk about street cleaning, and we've received some feedback, both sides. So, excuse me, there's been information on social media. There's been information sent to me about people being upset about street cleaning. Matt and I did drive Yuba Ridge. What we saw was acceptable, but what I saw today wasn't acceptable in another spot. So we have that in the hands of Contract Sweep Company. It would be we probably received 4 or 5 people saying, I saw things on social media, but I'm on the other side of that. We got phone calls and emails saying, they did a great job on our street, please don't get rid of it. So we've got both. We've also heard, guys, can we get rid of that, have leaf cleanup? What I would tell you is leaf cleanup is cost prohibitive for us. I don't think it's anything we could ever do. City of Westville does it, Minerva Park does it. They both do it 2 different ways. Minerva Park does cleanup, and they pay $38,000 annually to have leaves cleaned up in Minerva Park. We are at a minimum, I spoke to the company, 3 times the size of Minerva Park as far as leaf cleanup is concerned. So we'd be looking at, if you round at 40,000, we'd be looking at $120,000 annually to clean leaves. We're not in a position to do that. So then we said, well, what would it look like if we did it ourselves? And Matt can chime in if he needs to. We spoke to Vermeer. So you have to buy a box to go in the back of the truck. That's about $9,000. The trailer with the machine is anywhere from $88,000 to $98,000 to buy it. So you're looking at $120,000-ish to buy the equipment. The effort to pick leaves up takes 4 to 5 employees per truck. So we have 3 employees. And as I just mentioned, we do 170 funerals a year. Westerville brings in seasonal people and full-time people to do this. And in 1 week, last week, their labor was $13,760 for 1 week of labor. And then each truck has a $26,000 expense added to it for maintenance just during leaf season that they have to spend on that. And they have 6 trucks, and we have 1. So you're looking at $30,000, just $26,000 in maintenance if you use that same figure they're using for that, plus $100-some thousand to buy the equipment, plus the fact that there's no way that Matt and Chris and Mitsu could ever keep up with that. We did hear from a gentleman from Westerville that said when they did Sherrington Avenue, they had 2 trucks, 2 trucks or 3 trucks? 2 trucks.
2 trucks.
12 guys, and never got Sherrington done in 1 day. They couldn't get it done because of the leaks. So it's not because they're not trying. So I would tell you that I would not be in favor of doing leaf pickup. Where I live, they don't do leaf pickup. Most places don't do leaf pickup. We heard from the guy at Vermeer, he said basically, I haven't heard from a township in years to look into this because of the cost to do it. He said we hear from big cities. That's pretty much it. The Bexleys, the Arlingtons, the Westervilles, the bigger cities. So, so that being said, if we outsource it, you're still looking at $100,000+ a year. I think that's just an expense at this time. Doesn't make sense. So that's my opinion on it. My last opinion on contract sweeping, is there some better effort that could be done in certain spots? Yes, I have photos of it today. But I also have photos of other ones where, so I think it may have been who's driving that sweeping truck that day, right? So I've reached out to them, and having to redo the street that I saw today. And I would suggest that if we continue to sweep streets, we do not do it in the fall. I don't think it makes sense. The leaves are going to be there. They're not going to be sucked up by the machine. They're going to be blown around everywhere. So even when it looks good the first day, the next day those leaves are going to blow right back out. If the leaves are not picked up out of the gutters, they're not going to, because the machine doesn't pick up leaves. That's not what it's made for. So those are my not so subtle opinions.
Okay, thank you for that. I would like to ask Joanne, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I'd like to ask you what your thoughts are on this cost.
I agree with that. We just don't have the resources to do that. So the only option would be that if people are really passionate about it, you could have the ability to get signatures and put a referendum to put a levy on the ballot, but it would require an additional levy to pay for those.
Okay, and I believe that Minerva Park did have an additional levy. Is that correct, for that service?
They stopped the leaf pickup, and as part of an income tax increase, they brought the leaf pickup back. So it did require an additional income tax increase in order to do that. Every service comes with a price, and can we fit it within our resources or not? Right now, we can't.
Okay, thank you. So I had posted on Facebook that if the current company we have isn't meeting our needs, there should be options, and they've brought these options, which isn't going to work for Blendon Township unless, like Joanne said, if you ladies or Tim or anybody want to circulate a petition to get an increased tax for that purpose, that is something you can do. So, I'm disappointed, but I understand. We can't pay that. It's terrible for us.
I have a question for Matt regarding this. If we did it another time of year so that it wasn't even addressing leaves, is there still value in paying to have the streets swept for the purposes of the sewer maintenance?
Yes, absolutely. Keeps the sewage clear from the curbway. I would say springtime would be great. And we should think about next year, maybe not doing it for fall.
But what are the gutters and leaves?
Yeah, I mean, the potential's there.
I mean, would,
We all need to do our part as homeowners, renters, to clean the curbs and sewers out.
Because the street sweeper doesn't pick up it'll get all the way up against the gutter, it's not picking those leaves up out of the
The
gutter.
curb.
It'll get a
And
few,
that-
the curb, I mean,
yeah.
it'll get a few, because they come back here and dump, 2 or 3 times a day when they're doing it, they dump back here. It's got debris in there and stuff, and there's some leaves, but it's not pulling all those leaves. In order to run a truck, you have to have a driver, someone on the trailer, and 2 to 3 people raking leaves into it. So it takes 4 to 5 people to run one truck. So, anyways.
I would like to add that when you put it on social media to email the trustees, the emails and the phone calls that I received were all in supporting the current status quo. So I think like Pat said, he received messages. Some streets were okay, some were not. And I think we need to, well, you have a meeting with them, right, to approve on this?
Yeah. And just so you know, and the residents know, we do it twice a year. Yeah. It's $4,000 a year to do it twice a year. So basically $2,000 a year. So if we went to one, it might go up a little bit because you're only doing one, right? But you're still gonna be less than $4,000 a year to do street cleaning, as opposed to the other options.
Well, so we just need to decide if it's a waste of taxpayer dollars. Based on Matt, our service director's comment, that there's a lot of value.
Yes.
We don't have to make a decision today, but.
I just wanted to have that part of the discussion. That's all I have.
Okay. Well, thank you. Do you have anything for human resources?
No, we're all caught up. Everybody's on board. We got a couple babies born, and we got them in the insurance system all, so they get, make sure they're all covered. But as far as any major HR issues, I have a test on December 6th. Other than that, I have a big exam I have to take on the 6th.
what's up with,
My Society of Human Resource Management certification.
good luck.
Matt will tell you, I've been studying like crazy. Cramming. Anyways, other than that, nothing from the HR side.
Okay, how about you, Matt?
We have all of our winter equipment serviced. Everything's loaded for salt, and we're ready to hit the street whenever we need to.
All right, Chief Alfred. All right. Fire.
Chief Miller asked me my name is Jim Mara, by the way, one of the battalion chiefs. He asked me to talk about ladder safety tonight. And I've got some handouts for people after the meeting. You can grab one if you'd like. But this time of year, we've had quite a few falls off of ladders with some significant injuries. So I just wanted me to cover the safety rules real quickly about using ladders when you're putting up your Christmas lights or decorating trees or whatnot. The important things are choosing the right ladder for the job. So you don't want too big of a ladder to go up on your house. One thing, you can damage your gutters while you're up there doing it if you use an extension ladder. So get an appropriate size ladder when you're working to do your lights or whatnot. You always want to check your ladder for damages. I was talking to a friend of mine tonight. She was saying her husband fell because the ladder broke. So just make sure that you check all the pieces and parts, the bolts and things in your rungs, and make sure it's secure. If you have an extension ladder, check the dogs, the things that lock it in place. When you're extending a ladder, make sure those dogs lock, because a lot of times they don't catch, and so that can be a hazard. So make sure your ladder's, the appropriate one, and that it's free of damages. Also make sure there's no oil or anything slick on it that may make it slippery and you fall off of it. You should be in good shape to climb a ladder. If you've got, knee problems or hip problems, things like that, you might want to defer that to somebody else to do it. A lot of people, I know I do things that probably I shouldn't do sometimes, but I'm a guy and we can do whatever we want. So you should always have the ladder on a flat and stable surface, and you should have treads on the bottom of your ladder that are like rubber treads that hold it in place, and then set it up in a safe place. You want to look for wires above it and not get into your electric wires. That's a bad day. And let people know you're working on a ladder. If somebody goes out the door, and opens the door and knocks your ladder down, that's no good either. So just make sure you're in a safe spot when you put your ladders up. Don't try to, and I do this myself, lean too far out to get Christmas lights. It's just that one little bit extra I could get it, without moving the ladder. So don't lean, too far off your ladder because they fall over. Always maintain 3 points of contact. So, 2 feet and a hand on the ladder all the time while you're working. Always take small items up or down the ladder, not big items. You might need some extra help, maybe 2 ladders if you have to take something big up a ladder. And apply the 1 to 4 rule. So for every 4 feet of a ladder, 1 foot away from the wall. So 16-foot ladder, you need 4 feet out. A quick way to check that is just the rungs right in front of you should be an arm's length away. If you have to reach way out, or if it's like this, it's either too steep or too shallow, and a good chance you're going to fall. And then climb down cautiously, and you should go forward facing to your ladder and not turn around and try to work off of it backwards. Again, guilty. I do that sometimes too, so not at work, but at home. So anyway, so these safety rules are there, and if anybody would like to grab one, you're welcome to.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Mr. Cat. Okay, announcements. We have, the next trustee meeting is December 4th at 6:30 p.m., same location, and also live stream. Want to wish everybody happy Thanksgiving because the next meeting will be after that. And I will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:08. There is a motion on the floor and seconded to adjourn the meeting at 7:08. Any discussion?
Yamato?
Yes.
Cinnaberry? Yes. Heigl?
Yes, and the meeting is now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.